Welcome to Moon Mind. In this video, we're going to look at something most of us avoid thinking about too deeply, yet it quietly shapes every moment of our lives. There is a question you cannot fully escape. Not forever. You can distract yourself from it. You can postpone it. You can bury it under work, goals, routines, and noise. But it stays there. And eventually, life brings it back to the surface. Through loss. Through failure. Through success that feels strangely empty. Through moments when everything you built suddenly stops making sense. And the question appears again. What is all of this actually for? This question matters more than we admit. Because if we want real inner stability, not just temporary comfort, but a steady mind in the middle of life, we need a clear understanding of what life is, and what meaning actually is. But most of us inherit stories about meaning that sound comforting, yet don't hold up under pressure. Everything happens for a reason. It was meant to be. God has a plan. The universe is guiding you. Even spiritual traditions are often reduced to simple slogans that promise hidden order behind every painful moment. A guarantee that somehow, everything is secretly working out. But today, we're going to look more closely. Not at comforting ideas about meaning. But at what early Buddhist teachings actually point to beneath them. And why that difference changes how we live, respond, and suffer. If it feels right, settle in for a moment. Let your body relax. Let your attention slow down. There's nothing to rush toward here. Now picture a very ordinary day. Someone loses their job. Not necessarily a dream job, but something stable. Something that gave structure, income, identity. One morning, it's just gone. Budget cuts. Restructuring. A polite explanation that hides something abrupt. Within hours, messages start arriving. Well, everything happens for a reason. The universe is making space for something better. This is a blessing in disguise. Then another situation. A relationship ends after years together. The same phrases appear again. It wasn't meant to be. You'll find someone better. Trust the process. Or someone receives a serious medical diagnosis. And again. This is happening for a reason. God won't give you more than you can handle. There's a lesson in this. We've all heard this language. And many of us have used it. Because on the surface, it feels supportive. It turns chaos into order. Uncertainty into design. Pain into purpose. It suggests that nothing is random. That behind every loss, there is direction. Behind every breakdown, there is hidden progress. And most importantly, it promises this. If it hurts now, it will eventually make sense later. But we need to pause here and look honestly. Because while this idea is comforting, it carries a hidden risk. It can quietly disconnect us from reality. It replaces what is uncertain with what feels meaningful. But meaning that is assumed, not seen clearly, can become a form of avoidance. In Buddhist teaching, karma is often misunderstood in exactly this way. So let's clarify it carefully. Karma is not a cosmic reward system. It is not a hidden intelligence arranging your life. It is not a force deciding what you deserve. It is something much simpler. And much more neutral. Karma is cause and effect. That's it. Every action creates conditions. Those conditions produce results. Not because the universe is judging you. But because reality responds to what is done. Like planting seeds. Plant corn, and corn grows. Plant thorns, and thorns grow. Not because the earth is rewarding or punishing you. But because that is the nature of seeds under conditions. The soil does not care about your intentions. It does not plan your outcome. It simply responds. And karma works the same way. Your actions, what you think, say, and do, shape conditions. Kindness tends to create trust. Deception tends to create mistrust. Clarity tends to create wise outcomes. Confusion tends to create more confusion. Not because anything is being rewarded or punished, but because this is how patterns unfold. Now here's where the misunderstanding often begins. People assume, if karma is real, then everything I experience must be meaningful. So when something painful happens, they conclude, this must be my lesson. This must be my growth. This must be necessary. But this is where Buddhism becomes very clear. Suffering is not automatically transformative. Pain does not automatically create wisdom. Difficulty does not automatically produce growth. Sometimes suffering does the opposite. It hardens people. It closes them. It makes them fearful, reactive, defensive. You've probably seen this. Two people go through similar loss. One becomes more open, more compassionate, more present with others. The other becomes more guarded, more cynical, more distant. Same event. Completely different outcome. What changed? Not the suffering itself, but how it was met. This is the key point. Suffering does not transform us on its own. Our response does. And this is where the everything happens for a reason idea becomes dangerous. Because it can turn life into something passive. Something to endure. Something to interpret. Something to wait out. As if meaning will eventually reveal itself if we just survive long enough. But Buddhism does not suggest that. It does not say suffering is designed for your growth. It does not say you are being guided through hidden lessons. It says something more direct. Reality unfolds through causes and conditions. And your response to those conditions matters deeply. Now imagine someone in a harmful situation. A toxic job. A damaging relationship. A situation that steadily erodes their well-being. And they're told, this is your karma. You need to learn from this. Don't leave until you understand the lesson. On the surface, it sounds spiritual. But underneath, it can quietly trap someone in suffering. Because it suggests that enduring harm is meaningful in itself. That staying is part of growth. But karma does not say that. Karma says, if harmful causes continue, harmful results continue. Not as punishment. Not as lesson. As consequence. Just like fire burns when touched. Not to teach you something, but because that is what fire does. And this is where clarity becomes powerful. Because once you remove the idea that suffering is predesigned or meaningful by default, something important happens. You get your agency back. If life is not a scripted lesson, then you are not waiting for meaning. You are responding to reality. You are not decoding hidden messages. You are making choices. You are not a passive recipient of a cosmic plan. You are an active participant in cause and effect. A person who loses their job, for example, is not being redirected by the universe. They are facing a shift in conditions. Economics. Systems. Timing. Choices. Randomness. And from that clarity, they can respond. Grieve what was lost. Assess what is real. Take action based on what is possible now. Not wait for meaning. But work with reality. This difference is subtle, but life-changing. One view says, this is happening for a reason. I must wait for understanding. The other says, this is happening because of causes. I will respond wisely. One creates waiting. The other creates action. And this leads to something essential. You are not here to decode life. You are here to engage with it. There is no guarantee that everything will work out perfectly. No hidden force ensuring outcomes align with your desires. No cosmic insurance policy protecting you from uncertainty. But there is something real. Your capacity to respond. Your ability to act. Your awareness in this moment. Your choices right now. And those choices matter. Not because they guarantee success, but because they shape what comes next. So perhaps the most honest teaching is this. Not everything happens for a reason. But everything happens through causes. And within those causes, you have a role. Not total control. Not helplessness. But responsibility. Clarity. Participation. And from that understanding, something quietly powerful emerges. You stop waiting for life to explain itself. And you start living it, clearly, directly, and consciously. Not because everything makes sense. But because you are no longer waiting for it to.